And welcome back to The Factor Uncensored. As if the real estate market wasn't dicey already, now more homeowners are at risk of being targeted in scams out there. This comes after the release of this year's State of Wire Fraud report. 1 in 20 homeowners who have bought or sold a home within the past 3 years are actually victims of some type or level of fraud. Joining us to talk about it, real estate expert Shad Bogany. Shad, glad to have you here. First of all, you had to deal with fraud just recently yourself. Tell us what happened in your case.
Well, I was selling a house over near Wheatley High School, and I got the phone call from the owner. He says, Shad, my alarm went off because the house was vacant. I go over there to the home, and there's a whole family moving into the house, 4 people.
So, I mean, when you walk up, you're like, what the hell is going on here?
And I didn't know what to expect. So I went up and the lady said, well, I saw this house on Facebook Marketplace. The person met me. We signed all the papers on my hood of my car, and she gave me the key. Well, the person that knocked the key had broken into the lockbox, taken the key, and given it to her, taken my sign up, removed all of that. And so I'm like, this house is for sale. And so she said, well, I've given this person $5,000.
Wow.
I am not finna leave. And I've got my kids here. They go to school next door. They go to Wheatley. And I said, ma'am, here's all my information. So she told me she wasn't going to leave because she had paid $5,000.
And I'm sure for you it was heartbreaking.
Very much so.
But you have business to tend to.
I had business to take care of. I called the police. Police officer came out, and he looked at the lease. He looked at what I presented to him, and he says, ma'am, this house is not for sale. He told me, and he says, ma'am, you need to move. And he came over to me and said, they moved in a day early. If they had moved in on the day of the lease, you would have had to go to civil court to get them out.
Wow, wow. One day made the difference.
One day made the difference. Because I started not to go over there and just deal with it in the morning because I didn't know why the alarm could have been anything. But he said because they moved in early, they were trespassing. And he got them to load all that furniture back up and move them on out. And I felt, even my owner felt like, hey, I just wish I could give them something, $5,000. And this family was not a $5,000 who had this type of money. This was all their money.
Horrible situation. What type of other scams are we seeing out there in the real estate market that people need to be aware of and cognizant about?
The wire fraud is #1. That has been very heavy. The realtors used to be where we could put in the remarks, use this title company. We don't do that anymore. We've been told not to do it. But wire fraud is very important. If somebody calls and tells you or sends you an email, wire this money, first thing you need to do is call the title company that you're dealing with to see if it's true, and also call your realtor. Get people involved on it. The second one is that the other issue is title. So if your house is free and clear, they've got people doing fake deeds and then recording them and selling your house and to someone who may not know as an investment. That's another problem that we're having out there is title fraud.
And it takes a long time to get out of that mess, to untangle it all.
It sure does. And the biggest issue is that when you're in a real estate transaction, it is so important to use a professional. You don't sign anything on a car hood or any of that. The one thing about my instance, a lady said the last house I bought, rented, I signed on it and stayed there 2 years. So it was regular business for her. That's why no red flags. But you got to use a professional, real estate agent, realtor, have somebody.
And for those who are looking and want to find you, where can they find you at?
Well, you can find us. We're on the internet, Shad Bogany, the team. You can also call our office, Better Homes and Gardens, Gary Green, 713-667-1000.
All right. Thank you, sir. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.